Kelly File segment tonight. Big Supreme Court ruling on handguns. District of Columbia tried to ban citizens from having pistols. And the situation went all the way to the Supreme Court. Today, the justices ruled 5-4. The District of Columbia overstepped its bounds. Let's now analyze this and a couple of other things. Former Supreme Court correspondent, now Fox News anchor Megyn. You know what disturbs me about these rulings, because there's another one on whether you can execute a child rapist, is it's all political. It's not a court anymore. It's a political caucus. The liberals always vote the way you think they're going to do. Conservatives always vote the other way, and Kennedy's in the middle. Yeah,
I wish I could disagree, but I can't.
Right.
I mean, you can predict right before it's going to come out how it's going to go. And the most powerful man in America, forget Obama, forget McCain.
Anthony Kennedy.
It's Anthony Kennedy.
Right.
He cast the deciding vote in each of these cases, and he will continue to do so unless the Supreme Courts make up changes.
Why did the D.C. authorities, federal authorities, obviously, want to ban all handguns in the district?
They got a serious crime problem in D.C. This was passed back in the 70s, and they thought that this was the way to solve a lot of people, liberals
so that only
in particular,
criminals could have guns and nobody else.
Yeah, exactly. Think that this is the way to solve the crime problem. Well,
because criminals are going to listen to that, of course. They're going to say, yeah, we're not going to carry guns.
There's a ban.
Right, we'll break the law every place else.
But there's a ban.
What?
There's a ban. We can't have it.
Right. This is what I mean. This is how the pinheads think. This is how 4 Supreme Court justices think. We'll break the law because we're criminals on every other one, but we'll obey the ban.
I'll tell you what, though.
On handguns. This is so crazy.
The 4 justices on the Supreme Court who are in the minority on this one, who are in the dissent on this one, really, in my view, were off the reservation. They really were prepared to hold that the Second Amendment only applies to militias.
Right.
That you only
and there
get
are
a gun
no militias.
if you're in a militia.
But there are no militias.
I know, but they're
gone.
Honestly, you look at the analysis of the historical analysis.
No, but they want to ban all handguns.
From the beginning of time, the constitutional scholars understood that this applied as an individual right.
And there's no reasoning with the Supreme Court, but I have 2 words for them. Hurricane Katrina. Do you remember when people were caught and couldn't get out, and the roving bands of thugs armed, breaking in and looting? If you didn't have a gun, your life was in danger and your property was in danger, and everybody saw it. So we're glad that happened. Child rapists, I wouldn't execute anybody. You know me. It's hard labor. I'd make you wish you were dead if you murdered or raped anybody in this country. But again, broke down on ideological, and Kennedy swung over to the liberals.
Kennedy swung over to liberals. But I have to say, in this one, I could see the debate a little bit more. I mean, I thought the gun case ruling was clear. It should have been a 9-0. The child rapist one was tougher, because in deciding whether the death penalty in particular circumstances is constitutional, you have to look at things like, is there a national consensus for or against this particular version of the death penalty?
I think if we had a plebiscite on this, folks would say kill your child rapist.
But look, this is how they got rid of executing the mentally retarded, executing people who were under 18 when they committed their crimes, and so on. And so now we see a 3rd decision saying you can't execute child rapists.
I don't have any problem with that decision. I think they did the right thing. Now, on NBC has this catch a predator thing, you know, this thing where they show up at the cameras, the guy's not convicted or anything, they just think he's a predator. A law enforcement agent gets caught in a sting, kills himself in Texas. Now NBC had to pay the guy's family money. Do we know how much money?
It was a prosecutor. No, he was suing. The family was suing for $100 million. All we know is they settled.
You got to figure it's millions,
and that they're happy. Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge number. Because this is the guy. He
committed suicide.
A prosecutor. What happened was, you know how most of the guys show up at the house and they catch him on camera?
Right.
He didn't show up. He chatted with what he believed was a 13-year-old boy online. Then he never showed up at the house. So Chris Hansen.
They went to him.
They went to him. And the problem is they stormed the house. They brought in the SWAT team. They had over a dozen officers bust in there.
And he killed himself.
This would never happen in executing an arrest warrant.
Well, we can't say that, Kelly. We can't say it would have never happened.
No. What I'm saying is in the normal case, when they go to effect an arrest warrant,
okay, you're right.
They don't bring in the
firepower and all of that,
of course. And that's what led the judge to let the case go to trial. And before it got to trial, they settled.
So NBC News got on the hook probably tens of millions of dollars.
I would say it's definitely $1 million.
Now, a lot of people were upset that this baby got slapped. Roll the tape on this on the internet and San Diego authorities. You're working with them. What's the latest on the baby slap?
Now, after saying we don't see what you see on the tape, they're looking into it. Now they say actually that they've tried to contact this VidMax, that the site is, and they say that its address is no longer the one that's posted.
Yeah, they're split. Of course, after we reported on it, they took off.
Absolutely right.
But they are investigating.
So now they're looking back into it. Yes.
And you're going to stay on those.
We are staying on it. Absolutely.
We like the San Diego Police Department. We think they're good. But they got to check this thing out. You can't have a baby slapped in this country and not know the circumstances and say, oh, we're not going to investigate.
Well, that was the problem with them, because they came back first and said, oh, we're not going to investigate.
And I heard that once you called them, Kelly's. All right,
they said, Bill who?
No, it's Kelly.
No.
Megyn Kelly, everybody.